Welcome to the training for the Transportation Department for the Active Supervision. This particular type of supervision is just 6 various steps that you should take throughout the day when you're working with the children to provide safety for the children as they ride your bus and or get on or off of the bus. Now, this is not a complete training about what to do on the bus, but this is specifically about what is called active supervision. You'll see up in the corner over my shoulder various slides. They actually will contain about 90% of the information I'm going to share today. So we'll read from the slides and then I will enhance that with some comments as we go through the program. Let me begin by sharing with you first the performance standard, or the rule or law guideline that stipulates that we should have some type of supervision plan for taking care of children in all aspects of the Head Start, early Head Start, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's transitioning from one location to another, or transportation of children on the buses or some other form of transportation. So let me read for you. The performance standard, or the specific law, is number 1202.9, and then subsection C, subsection 1, and that's V, or number 5. Also, 1309.2, personnel policies, subsection C, standards of conduct. Basically, that's just the location in the law, and we're going to read what we're required to do. The program must ensure all staff, consultants, contractors, or volunteers abide by the program's standard of conduct that ensure no child is left alone or unsupervised by staff, consultants, contractors, or volunteers while under their care. So these are the 6 elements, or the key elements, of active supervision. We're going to walk through what each of them mean, but let's just review real quick what they are. Setting up the environment, setting things around you. Also, to scan and count, we'll explain that more thoroughly as well. Anticipate children's behavior, position staff, listen, engage, and redirect. Those are the 6 items. So let's just walk through what each of them mean to you as a bus driver or a monitor on a bus. The first one, set up the environment. Staff should set up the environment so that they can supervise children and be accessible at all times. The bus environment is different. Each child has, of course, we know, assigned seating, and the driver and the monitor should seat the children in the manner as to be able to see them while they're riding. The driver may look back while stopped along the route, and the monitor should get up and scan the seats often along the ride. So we know that you have placement for the children. When you decide where you're going to place them where you can best see the children throughout the bus. If you have to space them out, or if you have to put larger children nearer or farther from the aisle, whatever's going to work to be able to see the children. Continuing with this setup, the staff of the environment should set up the environment so that they can supervise children and be accessible at all times. Make sure that the aisles are clear in your environment so that you can get to the children should there be any kind of a situation. The environment's different from classrooms, so each child, as they have this assigned seat, you should assign the children in the manner, as we said a moment ago, for them to be riding, that you can see them, and while the driver is looking back, you can see what's taking place. Setting up the environment, additional step, so that they can supervise children. The staff should be aware of what the children are doing, including if they fall asleep on the ride. So I know some of your children fall asleep both in the morning and the evening. Remember that when children are sitting in these car seats, it is possible, and it has happened to some children, not in our program, but it has happened to some children, that they've fallen asleep and their head has bowed down and they have restricted their airway. So make sure that your children aren't sitting in such fashion that it even prohibits their ability to breathe. So that's part of watching your environment. Now, moving to the second step, before we step into it, I want to go over what is called name-to-face matching the children. I know that you're aware of this from some other training, but this is going to go hand in hand with step number 2. Name-to-face is matching, of course, the child's face to the written documentation of their name. So checking their presence as they come on the bus. So the first thing, looking at the child's face, match the face to their name on an attendance sheet and marking them present. Of course, you also have for the first 30 days the wristbands, so you can watch and check your child's face, match them with their name on their wristband, and of course looking to match their name with the other tools you have. Pictures on the side of the bus, but most of all, matching them with your bus manifest, and of course marking them present. Now let's move into what it means to scan and count, and that's where we're going to use face-to-face sometimes as we look at this. When children are being picked up at their home or at school, so you're getting them on the bus driver and the monitor will use the name-to-face counting method for boarding the bus and will mark the bus manifest when boarding the children. So of course you're going to mark your bus manifest as each child comes on. After all the children are on the bus, you're going to look at the manifest, make sure they've all been picked up, the driver and the monitor. You're going to count the children and confirm the number of children that you have on the bus matches the manifest. So you're going to work through that. The second part of scan and count, the children are dropped off at the school. The bus driver and monitor will confirm the number of children and then use the name-to-face method of counting when the children are off boarding from the bus. The monitor is to call out the child's name when unbuckling them. The driver will confirm the child by marking the manifest as the monitor hands off the child to the teacher. I know that you received other training on hand-to-hand, handing the child off, so I'm not going to go over that. After all the children on the manifest have left the bus, the driver will confirm the number of the children with the receiving teacher or of the staff. Another part of the scan and count is when you're off-boarding at home or a daycare. The bus driver monitor is to use the name-to-face method of counting when the children are off-boarding from the bus, same as before. The monitor calls out each child's name when unbuckling them, same as before. The driver will confirm the child and the proper location of the drop-off by marking the manifest as the monitor hands off the child to the parent or the authorized person. Notice the added step, you're going to make sure you have the proper location for this child. You're going to have other training that's going to include what it means to confirm an authorized person, but that's not part of this particular training. The third step is to anticipate children's behavior. The bus driver and monitor will use what they know about each child's individual interests and skills to predict what he or she will do. Now, of course, this isn't going to happen in the first few days, but you're going to recognize different characteristics of different children. And as you begin to recognize them, you might recognize that some of them are tired in a particular day when they get on or are on the bus in the morning or the afternoon. However, maybe they get on and they're a little upset. Maybe this is going to cause them to start to take a dangerous risk. One of the examples would be like jumping off the lower step because they just maybe aren't listening as well today as they do on some occasions. It's your observations that help you to see the differences in the child and then to be able to anticipate that child's behavior. Looks like this child might act a little differently today because they're tired or because they're upset. Something's going to happen. So if you know what to expect, you're better able to protect the children from getting harmed. So that's what it means to anticipate children's behavior. Now, we can't predict everything, but we, of course, try to pay attention to what they're like from day to day and get to know them. That's what happens when you're around them on a regular basis. The fourth thing is how you position yourself, how staff positions themselves. The bus monitor will carefully plan where they will position themselves in the environment to prevent children from harm. They place themselves so that they can see and hear all the children in their care. They make sure that there are always clear paths to where children are seated so they can react quickly when necessary. The bus monitor will stay close to children who may need additional support. Their location helps them provide support if necessary. Now, what this means, of course, is that you may have to move around up and down the aisle, sit in one location near a child that's maybe struggling. That's why when you originally set up your seating chart, you may want to leave some spaces open where the monitor can sit in one place or another to check on children throughout the ride without having to stand the whole ride. So that's what it means to position staff. Number 5 is listening. This may be a little bit different on a bus, but There are sounds that sometimes are absent or that signify some concern. If children are not talking, maybe they're starting to sleep. Maybe you want to check on them, pay attention because they're not talking. Oftentimes we sing songs, and you're encouraged to sing songs with the children or talk with them about their day. And so if you notice the absence of sounds as much as there are sounds, of course you're paying attention if there's someone shouting or upset, but drivers and monitors are listening to the children to identify signs of any potential danger. Obviously, if one's falling asleep and they're extremely quiet, you want to start checking on that to see if their breathing is okay, if their neck is not restricting their breathing. It goes on to say programs that think systematically implement additional strategies to safeguard children. For example, and we just spoke about that, singing songs along the ride helps them keep their hands to themselves and also may prevent them from falling asleep. The last step is engage and redirect. You may not have as much opportunity to worry about this one or be concerned, but drivers and monitors should use what they know about the child's individual needs and develop to offer support. Sometimes if they are upset, you might want to engage them in conversation or redirect their thought process about some other subject, so you can offer different levels of assistance or redirection depending on what the child's need is. Maybe they just need to think about the next song. Maybe they need to think about their day. Maybe you want to talk about how soon they're going to be back home again, or how the day is going to go if they're on their way to school. So that's engaging with the child and, of course, redirecting their thought into another pattern to help to keep them from maybe losing control or struggling. So as we walk through this, I close this training, very short training, with the specific caution. You're using all these methods of active supervision and the bus manifest when you're getting off-boarding the children. It does not change the driver or the monitor's responsibility to sweep the bus at all the designated times that have been previously described. So even if you're using all of these methods and you're following, checking off the bus manifest, that doesn't mean you don't have to sweep the bus or have it swept when you get finished by one of the other staff. All of those steps must be completed as well. So thank you for watching this training, very short. If you have any questions, you'll be able to ask your transportation person, leadership, or your site supervisor. Have a great day.